Hello, it's Oliver Blair, and I'm going to quickly and hopefully succinctly, shortly show you adjustment layers in Photoshop and why they're kind of useful and how to use them pretty well. So over here in the layers panel, you can sort of see I've got three different layers. I've got this background kind of layer, this alleyway. I've got one, this sort of massing model. It's like a little scale model that's blown up and sort of injected in here. And I've got another one as well, and you can sort of see they've also got layer masks attached to them. What I can do is press shift and then I can toggle that layer mask on and off, so you can sort of see that's the actual layer there, and then we're masking all that other stuff off. What I'm going to do, I might just work on this one here for now. Oh no, let's work on this one. I'm gonna try and sort of integrate this into the site a wee bit better, because you can sort of see the lighting is quite different, and the sort of tone and everything is quite different from that alleyway. You know, the alleyway is very kind of dark, and these models are very bright. Let's work on this one. This will be easier to show you with this one. So what you can do is select the layer that you want to adjust, and then up here there should be an adjustments panel, a little tab there, and it should have a whole bunch of these little icons. If it's not there, you can go up to Window and then Adjustments and make sure that that's ticked, and it'll be somewhere in your user interface. And what I'm going to do is just use the Hue Saturation one to begin with. You can see over here. So if I click that, it's going to add a new kind of layer to my organization pane down here called Hue/Saturation. You can sort of see there is actually a layer mask component to it, and there's this actual these settings for it as well. You'll sort of see the settings show up in the Properties tab. I'll just enlarge that a wee bit. There you go. So you got this hue, saturation, and lightness kind of sliders for this layer. Now, if we play around with them, like if I drop down the saturation, you can sort of see, oh no, it's affecting the whole image. A quick way to get it to just affect one layer is this little icon here, this little button. This is the clip to layer button, I guess. So if you click that, it'll give you this little arrow on the layer, on the adjustment layer, and it'll show that it's just going to modify that one layer that it's sitting above. And you can stack multiple kind of adjustments to just affect one actual image layer. So it's pretty handy if we want to separate things out and sort of tweak and adjust things and balance things in relation to each other. So cool, that's what we want to do. And you can sort of see if I ramp up the saturation, now it's just affecting that one layer. I can drop it down a wee bit. Whoa, getting some cool kind of effects there, but let's not worry about that too much. I want it to be kind of a bit darker, sure. I want it to have some color in it. Yes, but not that orange. I want it to be kind of this reedy kind of brick color, because I'm sort of trying to simulate, here we go, it's getting a bit better, trying to simulate the kind of coloring that will affect this more whitish concrete. You get some sort of splash from that brick. It's not going to be this kind of saturated, but I'm just trying to find the actual kind of tone we want, the hue we want rather. Cool, now let's drop down the saturation a wee bit. Maybe it's something more like that. Let's just try that. Cool. There we go. Something, probably a wee bit darker there. Cool. Okay, great. And then just like any other layer, you can click on the eyeball and it'll turn that off. See, boom! That's the original massing model we had. Turn that adjustment on. It sort of really changes the whole feel of that layer, huh? But it's kind of over too much of it. That's where the layer mask comes in handy. So I can click on the layer mask portion of that adjustment layer, and now just like the other layer mask, we can press B for the paintbrush, and I can paint in, for example, black. And now it's going to hide that adjustment from wherever it is black. It's going to mask the adjustment. So see that? It's sort of like hiding it from it. And then if I press X to toggle my colors there, my foreground and background colors, I can paint in white. And it's going to add that adjustment layer in. So very, very handy. We can sort of really tweak the image and adjust it like per pixel exactly how much it's going to modify it. The really cool thing about this is that it's non-destructive still. We still have that that original source layer there. Just it's perfect like it was, with this layer mask on it. But that original image is all there, and we can go back and we can adjust this adjustment layer whenever we feel like it later on. Like if we feel it's too desaturated, we can add more color back in. Now we're getting a bit more of that red kind of tone from the bricks. And we go, oh, maybe it's a bit too light, so we can sort of tone it down a wee bit more, maybe like that. Ooh, something like that might work quite well. Great. Cool. And because it's an adjustment layer, we can change the opacity of our brush. So see right now up here in my settings at the top, it's at 100%, but if I ramp this down a wee bit, like to 20, and I can just sort of gently kind of take it away. So it's not like sort of uniform over the whole thing. But see, it's a wee bit brighter here on the brick, so I kind of want to help simulate that. Really handy to be able to tweak that down a bit. Maybe I'll put it on 10%. And again, oh, maybe it's too much. Sort of taken away too much now, so I can just flip those colors again, add it back in. Because it's on 10%, we're just sort of just gently adding it back in. So you can really kind of finesse your images now. I want to kind of get rid of some of that a bit more over here. Yeah, add maybe a bit more back in. Cool. So yeah, maybe take a wee bit more away from that corner. Yeah, nice. So now we can really sort of finesse it and really get it to be sort of adjusting and sort of have it feel a bit more like it's there, It still looks like photoshopped, of course, you don't want it super realistic for these quick sort of studies, but this gives you a lot better idea of what that can kind of feel like. I might add a bit of a shadow down here as well, so back into the brush, and we'll see, add a bit more of that, and there we go. See, that's starting to sort of beat it in a wee bit more. A quick way to change the opacity, you can actually press the numbers. So 1 will be 10%, 5 is 50%, and so on. So if I press slowly, I can go 9, and that'll change it to 90. Or if I press quickly, like I can go like 45, like that. So you can really quickly kind of adjust it. Like, oh, I need a bit more power, it's like, oh, a bit less. I'm going to tweak it all down a wee bit. You can really start to kind of tune how your image is reading really nicely. Cool, that's looking kind of a bit better. I mean, it's a bit too harsh, but yeah. That's the general kind of idea with those adjustment layers. I'll show you another one just quickly. If I go back to the adjustments, and then I add in, for example, let's go curves. And this is going to show a histogram of the pixel representation, a graph representation of the pixels, rather, of the tonal qualities of the pixels over the whole image, over that whole layer there. So if I just click on the clip to layer again, see how it changes. So that's just that one layer that it's reading. If I click that again, now it's the whole image. So remember, the whole image is going to affect, if it's at the top, that if I use this clip layer with a little arrow, it's going to just only affect that one layer. Let's get it to do the whole image, just so I can show you what this adjustment thing does. So the curves. If I click in the middle, well, rather, let's click down the bottom here. So if I move this little key into the middle, see, it's sort of crushed all those black colors there, all the pixels that were black. It's sort of brought them all to be black. So it's like moved the black point up to the middle now. So what used to be kind of like this mid-gray in the middle here is now actually black. So it's sort of like a contrast kind of thing. See, it's really crushing everything to be black. And the same thing if I bring this one down from the top, going to make all those midtones white. So you can really kind of crush things and adjust things. But if I click in the middle, I can add a new kind of key point, and that's going to affect the midtones. So it's going to sort of move and shift the midtones around a wee bit. So you can really, you can make some drastic things. You can really kind of affect the contrast in a way, but you can also just sort of change and modify the overall tone of the image. This is really helpful for when you're trying to balance things that are shot under different scenarios. It's really helpful for that. And that's why I think we'll just apply it to this one layer, the masking model layer, just so I can sort of show you what that's going to do. See here, we can sort of match the tonal qualities of that background image. So it's like, oh no, and then somewhere in between. This is what it was originally, but I think it needs to be a bit more over here, so the black point is up a wee bit higher. There we go. See, now the blacks are starting to kind of gel with the blacks a bit more. Sort of feels a bit more kind of natural. I mean, it's a weird kind of masking model to use, but let's actually paint some more of this in. 0 for 100%. Okay, we'll add that, some more of that model back in. There we go. And I'll just remove some of it again. Cool. And just being quite kind of messy with it. Don't have to be sort of perfect. Cool. Might want to add some more of that back in actually. That's quite good having that there. Yeah, hopefully that kind of helps. So again, this is the original image. There's the background. There's that original masking model study, and then with the layer mask onto it, and then that hue saturation adjustment on, and then the curves on as well. Just sort of helps it bed it in a wee bit better. Cool. Hopefully that sort of explains layer masks and a wee bit of adjustment layers and how they can be helpful as well and sort of match things up tonally. There's a bunch of different adjustments as well. There's like photo filters and contrast and brightness is a really useful one as well. Just give you 2 sliders so you can just really quickly adjust how things are reading. Yeah, cool. There's lots to play with in this panel here. See ya.